is a very interesting part. Okay, when we were kids, right, a TV show used to come known as Paramveer Chakra.
Yes,
So
yes,
that was pre-Kargil war. That was pre-Kargil war.
yes,
So it showcased the life of all the Paramveer Chakra winners. Okay,
yes.
so that is the one I got my exposure to Indian Army, especially the life of Second Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal. So he was
Okay.
21 when he laid down his life and he got a Paramveer Chakra. Laksh, I would say, is such a movie that has inspired a generation of soldiers, a
Yes, it's a
generation of
cult.
officers. It was inspired. Yeah, it's a
Yes,
cult classic. I mean, like I can vouch for it because and one such movie, I would say, Border was one such movie, and in this generation, I would say Shersha can be one such movie that will
yes.
create another generation of army officers. But Laksh was one such movie that created a generation of army officers. What the army looks for are something we can Google it. It's called OLQs. There are 15
Mhm.
of them. OLQ means officer like qualities.
Okay.
So how well you gel with the team, how well you are aware of your surroundings, how is your physical fitness, everything matters. Everything matters. So it's a test of personality. I would say you can prepare for it. Preparing
Okay.
for SSB is like not changing your life means you are updating your life choices. You are upgrading your life choices. So it's not like an exam that I prepare for. It's not like a crash course that I prepare for
Mhm.
15 days. I give the exam and it's
I
done.
believe
No.
Mahendra Singh Dhoni also is captain in Territorial Army.
He is a lieutenant colonel with 106th Infantry. 106th
Uh-huh.
Infantry is a para SF regiment. So I think it's headquartered in Bangalore.
When we hear about Indian Army, our heart fills with pride. At some point in our life, maybe in school days or college days, all of us might have thought about getting into that uniform of Air Force, Indian Army or Indian Navy. So today we have a guest who is a corporate guy like me. However, at some point in his career, he appeared for National Defence Academy examination and cracked it also at the first attempt. So today he is going to share all his experiences from that phase of his life when he appeared for NDA exam and he further went into SSB rounds. Also many more things about Indian Army and Indian defense facilities. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Amlan Mallik, who is a very good friend of mine, and let me know what you think about it. Please like, share and subscribe to this channel if you like the content. Thank you. Enjoy the podcast.
Hello, Amlan. Welcome to the Geeky Pod with Manas.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Manas. Thanks for inviting me.
So first of all, tell me, like, what are you up to now in your career? Like,
So yes, so as you know that both of us started our journey almost together. Like in 2015, when we passed out college, we walked into the realm of IT sector. So it
yeah,
has been like it has been a very interesting journey for me. Okay, I joined a reputed IT firm over from the campus placement, and it continued just like any other IT engineer. You switch companies, you learn new technologies, you work, you grow. That's it. So now I'm working for a startup for Germany. So that is where I'm currently
okay.
now.
So you are in a work from home mode?
I am in work from home mode since 19th March 2020.
Oh, it's almost 2 years complete. Yeah,
It's more than 2 years, around like
more than.
2.5 years, 2 years and 9 months.
Oh,
2 years and
great,
nine
man.
months. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so you mentioned that you started your career with a very big Indian company where it's like mass recruiter company. So you definitely underwent went some trainings and induction sessions, right? And I believe that was a very good one, right? Because they have a lot good campuses and good teaching professionals teaching you how industry works and all. So how was that experience? If we can share.
So the experience was, I would say it was pretty different. So being a day scholar, I had no hostel exposure. So
Okay.
there, what I'd say more than my IT, like induction into IT, I had that hostel life. I have lived my
Okay.
hostel life over there. It
Okay.
was for a very brief period of time, say 6 or 8 months, but I have lived my hostel life over there. And the second part, coming to the induction and the training part, it was rigorous. It was very well organized and well designed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. I mean, like a lot of people from I was from a non-IT background, so
Mm-hmm.
everything was new to me. So people from IT background also said that the kind of education was imparted to us in college in a duration of 4 years. So that was crammed up in 6 months and put inside them.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is what I have seen. But yeah, it taught me quite a few things. Like my first time interaction with people from foreign countries. Like there were a few Japanese lads with us, and also exposure from people from different states and different parts of India. So that was one exposure, and one thing. Yes, I mean like handling the corporate environment. That's what it basically taught me.
So there are
So the
sorry,
experience.
there are some foreign professionals also who joined with you for training purposes. It's a cross mixture, like Indians and foreigners.
Yes. I mean, like it was more of like they were not employees. I think it was maybe some sort of exchange program. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
There were only 2 Japanese lads with us. So yeah, that's all. I mean, like they are tremendously good. Like the Japanese work ethics are through the roof.
So being there in that environment, and after that training, you joined the workplace, right? So where you started actual real-time projects working into. Then did you ever think like, no, I should maybe pursue higher studies in business administration, like MBAs, or maybe more like technical education, like MTechs or PhDs? Anything that occurred to you?
Okay, so when I joined my work, when I joined the workforce, so yeah, these thoughts did come into my mind, but it was on the direction of a government job. So it came in the direction of a government job. So I was not thinking of higher studies because I was very clear about that. It's not my cup of tea. So I thought, okay, I'll try for government jobs, but it's actually very difficult to concentrate when you are not in that environment because the people around you define your goals a lot of times.
Right.
So the people around me were enthusiastic about IT. They were looking forward into switching companies and learning technologies. So yeah, I won't say that I was passionate or something, but happened. Life happened. Things around me happened, and I just went with the flow. So yes, I thought about government job, and after that, when I changed my first company, that was the time of data science. Data science was all the hype during that period of time. I researched a few organizations maybe I should join, but yeah, it did not happen. Again, I said life happened, so I went with the flow, and yes, I believe it has worked pretty good for me, and I'm still going with it.
Right. So yeah, there are certain companies which allows its employees to go for higher studies. And in that case, the company that you started with also sometimes there are programs where it allows its employees to go for higher studies. But always this kind of opportunities or options comes with a bond that after you complete your masters or in higher education, you have to come back to the organization and then continue your employee activities, work activities in that company. So do you think it's good for an employee because they are getting to learn higher studies and also they are being bonded for a certain period?
Yeah, so the thing is, yes, the opportunity that the companies provide for higher studies, it's a very welcome move. Welcome move in a sense that, and the thing that you mentioned about bond. So see, it has got like two sides, I believe. First side is your job is guaranteed.
Right.
After you complete your master's, your job is guaranteed. Yeah. So that is a good, that is the rosy side of it. Again, the negative side is what if you are getting a better offer? You can miss out on that. Yeah. So my view on this is the company investing on you. It's a very welcome move for people who are coming from middle class or lower middle class backgrounds. Pursuing a higher study is a very costly affair, be it India, be it abroad. So I think it's a very welcome move from the part of the company. And coming to bonds, I think there is no legal purview for bonds in India. I mean, like employee can opt to leave the organization, but he or she has to pay the amount that the company has spent for the training. I think no one can be bonded as per Indian law. I mean, like it can be challenged. Even like the company I joined, also they also had some contracts like you have to work for 1 year or 2 years. But yeah, people left. But yes, it can't be enforced as far as I'm aware.
Okay. Yeah, that's a law actually. I also read about it where you cannot be taken into court if you are not staying for the period. Yeah.
Exactly. They can ask for the amount that they paid for your training, but they have to prove it that they did.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned that you have been working from home for almost 3 years now. I mean, 2 years, 9 months, and
Yes.
all. So how has been that work experience? Like, did you get a lot of pressure because you are work from home? Company is thinking he's available always. I can call him anytime and make him work. So did you get those kind of pressure, or how was it?
Yes, that's an unfortunate scenario that I am seeing. But I would say, so having the experience to work with Indian IIT companies as well as German companies, European companies, I would
Yeah.
say this culture of the employee being available 24 by 7 unfortunately exists with us Indians a lot more than
Okay.
Europeans or Americans. So that's a very unfortunate scenario. So the thing about pressure, I would say, yes, because see, if I am thinking from the perspective of a manager, you are also a manager. I
Yeah.
am aware that you will also agree with me that if I can't see the employee, right? So if the work is not getting done, so there will be a thought in the back of my head that maybe he's not utilizing his time properly. Then so there will be a few checks. So
Uh-huh.
that is a problem with work from home, but it can be handled very decently if the employee has good communication.
Mhm.
uh, there has to be proactive communication. That is the key. Proactive communication is the key. There has to be proactive communication, and if anything that comes up, any issues, that has to be communicated immediately. So the key is proactive communication. If that is there, so the pressure is manageable. But nevertheless, I would say the pressure is there because let us say I need some help.
Mhm.
If I was in office, it's a cubicle jump to get it. But here it is slightly difficult because the timings might not match. So a
Mhm.
lot of things come into play. And also, I believe work from home scenario is more hectic in a way that we are not getting much human interaction. So that is
Mhm.
very important for a person. So you are sitting in front of a screen. So it's mentally taxing that way.
Yeah, because communication with the team also, like face to face or physical communication, also is important. You get to bond more
It's
when you're
very
in that
important for
environment.
us humans. It's very important for us.
Yes.
Yes, yes, you get to bond more exactly. I have made a few good friends and touch wood, I'm still in touch with them. It's a good thing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, now, other than work, like what are your passions? Like where you see yourself? Like you had. Then a lot of people go through. Like I have a passion for film. I have passion for cricket. I have passion for photography. So like that, any passion that you had in build from childhood itself that you wanted to explore.
Okay, wanted to explore. Yes. So the fascination that I had with like motorcycling. I don't know if you've heard of this movie called Motorcycle Diaries that
Okay.
showcases the life of Che Guevara. Yeah, so
Uh-huh.
that was one movie I saw that he rides across South America. I think he starts from Buenos Aires
Mhm.
and I think he goes till Cuba. I think he goes to Cuba. So yeah, that fascinated me, and yes, I have started exploring that of motorcycling through. And yes, I have been from Tripura. I have been to Meghalaya. I have covered the Spiti Valley, and
Okay.
I have traveled to Hampi, and I have done road trip, a few small road trips, and in future I'm planning for a ride till North Sikkim from Tripura.
Oh,
So that part also I'm planning to cover on my motorcycle. Let's see what happens.
right. Yeah. So, what do you think of that? I remember that in college we used to discuss that you had a passion for military and defense. So, where are you in that right
Yes,
now?
yes. So coming to Indian Army, okay. So I had this fascination with Indian Army from the very childhood because like my father was in the police, so it's also a
Okay.
uniform service. So I have been in close vicinity of the uniform since childhood, and it was a fascination for me. So I
Mhm.
had no idea of how to become an officer in the Indian Army. My motivation came from movies, frankly speaking.
Okay.
So in when I was in class ninth, I believe, I came to know about National Defense Academy, but I had no
Okay.
idea again how to enroll. I started
Okay.
researching. So that is it was 2009 when I got my first exposure to internet. So
Okay.
then I started researching and came to know that there is an entrance exam for National Defense Academy. You have to write. Then there is a 5-day interview procedure known as the Services Selection Board. After which there is a medical round. After which there is a merit list. And if you are through, you will join the National Defense Academy. There are yearly twice the entrance exam happens, and it has a vacancy of, at that time it had how many squadrons? I think it had 15 squadrons. I think it had till I think it had till Oscar Squadron, I believe. So 15 squadron in O till O, yeah, till the letter O, it had squadron. So twice a year they used to take the entrance exam, and yes, this was the entire procedure. So the selection rate, I did not know then, but the selection rate was very less, around 1% maybe. So I thought, okay, why not just give it a shot? So I wrote the entrance exam for NDA, and luckily I cleared it the very first attempt. And the time we met, I had my call for SSB that time.
Okay.
So I went to SSB in Allahabad, and yes, it was a life-changing experience. It was a life-changing experience because when you live in those army barracks for 5 days, and the kind of people you meet, the kind of passion they share with you, the similar kind of passion that you guys share, so that is a life-changing experience. So unfortunately, I could not make, but yes, I did make other attempts during college, and in fact, I'm still trying. I won't say I'm trying, but I still have my hopes for Territorial Army. So there is a chance that Indian Army provides working citizens of India to serve in the armed forces as officers till the age of 42. So that is known as Territorial Army. So there are infantry battalions. There are infantry battalions who are in Territorial Army. Even some infantry battalions are working with the Rashtriya Rifles. So Rashtriya Rifles is actually it is force of the Indian Army that is operating in Kashmir and counter-insurgency, CICT basically, counter-insurgency, counter-terrorism operations. We have heard of RR a lot. In anything that comes out of Kashmir has mention of Rashtriya Rifles. So yes, that is also, and also the adventure part of it. Adventure part of it is a very big aspect. It's a very big aspect of joining the armed forces. But so that has been motivation.
Yeah, so you mentioned that your motivations came from movies. Like, was it from movies like Laksha or Border or anything like that? Or like you were inspired by US movies, Navy SEAL based movies?
Okay. So yes, I will say, okay. So there is a very interesting part. Okay. When we were kids, right, a TV show used to come known as Paramveer Chakra.
Yes.
So that was pre-Kargil War.
Yes.
So it showcased the life of all the Paramveer Chakra winners. Okay.
Yes.
So that is the one I got my exposure to Indian Army, especially the life of Second Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal. So he was 21 when he laid down his life, and he got a Paramveer Chakra. He was with the I think he was with the Armored Corps. He was a tank man. So that is the one that inspired me a lot. So, and later came Laksh, and Laksh, I would say, is such a movie that has inspired a generation of soldiers,
yes,
a generation of officers. It was inspired. Yeah, it's a cult classic. I mean, like, I can vouch for a movie. And one such movie, I would say, Border was one such movie. And in this generation, I would say Shersha can be one such movie that will create another generation of army officers. But Laksh was one such movie that created a generation of army officers.
Right. Yeah, it was truly inspiring. If we see now, also goosebumps will start coming up.
Yes.
Yes, even after all this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you appeared for NDA exam. So maybe the pattern has changed now, but when you appeared for it, how was the pattern? Like, what do we need to learn or study for so that we can appear for it?
So anyone who's appearing for NDA, I would say NDA has got basically two papers. Okay. So the first paper was arithmetic and second paper was general studies. So general studies comprises of your English, science, and your GK related questions, your history, geography, everything. And arithmetic, like 10th level arithmetic, till 10th level arithmetic, the questions are there. So for any science background student, the arithmetic part and the science part would be easy. And also English is also doable. But a thing to look for should be GS. So if anyone from science background is trying or aspiring to join National Defense Academy, I would say they can buy books by various publishers like Arihant and all. There are various publishers. I should not name one, but there are almost all major publishers are publishing books for National Defense Academy and Command Defense Services. So I would say that they should go through the book read basic newspapers. I mean, like that should suffice, because if your arithmetic is good, your science is good, your English is good. If you are able to crack those, then you will be able to at least get the cutoff, and
Okay.
that would be enough for your written exam. And it does not require a very hard level of preparation, but yes, again, the kind of preparation is needed. It's different from JE, because you have to cover the arts related topics as well.
Yeah.
And later comes SSB, and SSB is a entire ball game, entirely different ball game in its own. So when I started, there were not much online material available, but now there are umpteen number of online materials available, like
Yes.
how the SSB interview is and what you should follow. There are live sessions that are happening every weekdays, weekends, on how you should approach the panel. But again, I would say it's test of personality. Okay, it's not test of your knowledge. Okay, because and also the army says so that the kind of guys that clear SSB, they're very average guys. They are not. I have seen guys who have played hockey in Asian level games getting rejected. Because what the army looks for are something, we can Google it. It's called OLQs. There are 15 of them. OLQ means officer like qualities. So how well you gel with the team, how well you are aware of your surroundings, how is your physical fitness, everything matters. Everything matters. So it's a test of personality. I would say you can prepare for it. Preparing for SSB is like not changing your life means you are updating your life choices, you are upgrading your life choices. So it's not like an exam that I prepare for. It's not like a crash course that I prepare for 15 days, I give the exam and it's done. No. So if you have to prepare for SSB, then you have to make some changes in your life. You have to inculcate some discipline in your life. And yes, I think it's very easily doable by anyone. It's a test of personality. They are not testing your knowledge. They are not testing your physical prowess. They are just testing your ability to gel. They are testing your ability to handle pressure. And they are just testing that are you a trainable material or not? Can you be molded into an Indian Army officer? That is what they're looking. That's it.
Okay. So you mentioned that it's 5-day interview process, right? So where you have to go some UP or some place, right? So where there will be camps where all this will happen. So what happens if you can break up day 1 to day 5, or it's like elimination rounds are there? After first day you can be eliminated, or it's like entire 5 days, then you'll be getting to know the result. Like how it is from your experience.
So I would say SSB, the way it is conducted, so Army, Air Force, Navy, all of them. I think for doctors it's not there, but all other branches they have to go through the services selection board. So there are a few. There is one in Allahabad, that is of the Indian Army and Indian Navy. There is one in Varanasi, that is of the Indian Air Force. There is one in Mysore, and there was one in Gandhinagar, that is again of Indian Air Force. And I think there is one in Bhopal, and one more I believe in Kapurthala is there. Somewhere in Kapurthala, one more is there. So the way SSB works is it's a 5-day interview process. The very first day that you appear, so there are 2 ways it can happen. Either you are a direct entry or you are coming from a written exam. So if you are a direct entry in the sense that Indian Army has got various entry modes, like there is TES, technical entry scheme. There is 10+2. If you are scoring more than 70% in your PCM, you can apply to join the Indian Army as an officer in the technical section. So you will basically serve in the electrical and mechanical engineers, the Corps of EME, or the sappers, or the Corps of Signals. And so in that case, so you are a direct entry. So, and also if you have an NCC certificate, you are eligible to directly sit for the SSB interview. So in those cases, what happens is you come in the morning, you have your preliminary round of tests that comprises of a thematic perception test. We call it PPDT, picture perception and description test. So picture perception and description test, the way it works, you get an image and you have to write a story. And mind it, the image is such that you will perceive it different, I will perceive it different. It's not a very definitive image. Okay, so the way you perceive the image, and then again on this image you will be divided into groups of say 5 or 10 depending on the size of the batch. It can go up till 15 or 20. I have not seen that. I have seen till 10. So what happens is you have to discuss in front of a panel. You have to discuss on the story and come to a conclusion. So that is day 1. From that day almost
GD kind of it will happen. GD.
Yes. kind of a GD. So it's not exactly like a GD because in the beginning you narrate your own story, then you have a group discussion, then you come to a conclusion. So I think you were allotted some around 3 to 5 minutes for that, and then on that very day there is an elimination. So that elimination happens, or like 40%, 40 to 50% of the batch is eliminated. But again, that's not a fixed number. If all of them are good, all of them will be in. If none of them are good, none of them will be in. I have seen washouts as well. No one was selected. It can happen. It can happen that everyone is selected, but that's a very rare occurrence. So that is for if you are a direct entry. Now, what happens for the guy who has come from NDA or CDS, which is conducted by UPSC? So you will be supposed to report in the afternoon, somewhere, anywhere. And again, the direct entry, you are supposed to report at 6 a.m. Then that happens for Air Force as well. That happens for Air Force as well. I think for Navy, for Coast Guards as well, it happens. But for Indian Army, what happens? If you're a direct entry, you are supposed to report at 6 a.m. and your day will be done by 2. Either you are staying or leaving. That's it. And that is what is planned for the day. That's it. After the result is out, if you are in, you go into the barracks, you get your bedding, you go to your rooms, you meet your friends, and fine, you have fun, you play, you are done for the day. And what happens for someone who has come from UPSC? So what happens? You are supposed to report at afternoon, and you stay there for the day. You meet your friends. There is nothing planned for that day, and the testing starts the next morning. So you are supposed to report at around, I think, 6 a.m. Between 6 to 7 a.m. You are supposed to report in the exam halls, and by that time, and Army is very strict about how you are going to dress. You have to be dressed in formals. You can't be in any provoking t-shirt or sneakers. You have to be dressed in formals. So again, that same test will happen that I mentioned: PPDT, picture perception description, and GD. And again, that round happens. If you're selected, you are in. If you're not selected, you are out. Done. Now coming to those who are selected. The guys who are selected, they go to the barracks, they rest for the day, and next day is psychology. So what happens in psychology test? So there are a few tests, like there is a same picture writing test, then there is something like they will show you a word, we call it what, then TET, what, SRT. So these are the 3 basic tests. So what means they will show you a word for like 30 seconds. You have to write the first thing that comes in your mind by seeing that word. You can incorporate that word, you can write an antonym of that word, however way you want. And something comes, situational reaction, as the name suggests. So they give you a situation, how you react to it. So the way it is designed, it is supposed to bring out the real person inside you, because the time frame will be so less, you can't fake it.
Right.
You can't fake it. So that goes day 1 of round 2. First round was the elimination round. That goes day 1 of round 2. Then the next day comes GTO, that is group testing officer. It's a GTO day 1, GTO day 2. So what happens in GTO day 1? So GTO day 1, you will have group task. You will in GTO day 1 you will have lecturate. You will have a group discussion, and I think you will have military planning as well. So all these are military planning. So military planning is they will give you a scenario that has got usually 4 steps of problems. So that will be in severity. Maybe you guys are going somewhere, there is a problem you saw as young individuals, how you are going to tackle the situation. So that is one, like, again, it's like how you can gel with the group. It's a test of group discussion and test of group unity. And then comes GD is there, normal GD. Then there is a test of lecturate. You are supposed to give an impromptu lecture for 3 minutes on any topic that might come up. Topic is not of your choice. They give you 3 choices. You can choose either. And there are some tasks. Tasks in the sense that you will be given some obstacles and some helping materials and some sets of rules. So you have to cross those obstacles as a group. As a group, the challenge is there. So you have to formulate plans, and you have to agree to a plan and then make the group pass. So there is full group task, then there is half group task, command, and a lot of things are there. So the GTO goes for 2 days, and during those 2 days, a person can have their interview. The personal interview with the interviewer, either with the chairman of the board or the deputy chairman. So they are usually of the rank of lieutenant colonel, or brigadier. I have seen either colonel or brigadier. So those ranking officers will take your interview, and after your interview is done, so that is, so far it's 4 days already. It's 3 days in round 2, and the last day would be your conference. So what happens in conferences? So the entire panel will sit in front of you in their uniforms. They will be wearing uniforms in that day. If you are a civilian candidate, you will be going inside in your formals. You will be greeting the board, and they will ask, how was your stay? How was everything? How was the experience? And then they will ask you to leave. If not, they might ask you some situational reaction test, or maybe somewhere during the testing of 3 days, some point they might have found out about you. Maybe let us say during the interviewer asked you something and he was not convinced by the answer. He may ask that in the conference. Again, that's not a norm or anything. It might happen. It's totally on the discretion of the interviewer. Okay. So it might happen, and you're supposed to leave. That conference lasts for 30 seconds or something. And after the conference is done, so your results will be declared. So results usually is declared by the GTO, I think. So the results will say who got through the conference. So going through the conference means you have crossed the testing hurdle where you had some input, because after that is medical test. You have got no control over it. Yes. You are how you are. Correct. So it's around like 3 to 4 days of medical, and then you wait for the merit list. That's how the testing procedure is.
Great. After one, let's say, cleared all the rounds of SSB as well as the medical. So what will be the next step if he or she is selected? Now, I think girls are also allowed, right, in defense?
Yes. Yes, girls were allowed in defense from previously. They were not allowed in combat role. First, they were allowed in combat role. Recently, they were allowed to the Siachen Glacier as well. So the first one was Captain Shiva Chauhan. She went recently.
Yes.
So that is one thing that has happened, and now girls are allowed in National Defense Academy as well. So it was previously, the time I applied, it was only guys, but now also both male and female cadets, both men and lady cadets are allowed to the academy. So coming to your question, when you asked what happens after this round of testing, so then you wait for the merit list. So there are set number of seats. So the merit list will come. So the top, let's say top 300 or 400 people will get selected. So if you are appearing for National Defense Academy, so yes, you will have like the 300 seats to you, and yes, so you will join National Defense Academy. You will have preferences when you join National Defense Academy. It can be either Army, Navy, or Air Force, but there is an option that you can change in the next terms. I'm not sure about that. I have heard about it, but you can change your service. Maybe you have opted for Army, you joined through Army, and later you shifted to Navy or Air Force. So that is there. But if you're joining any service academies after your graduation, let us say Indian Military Academy or Officers Training Academy, Air Force Academy, or Naval Academy. Excuse me. So after you join, let us say after the academies you join after your graduation, let us say Indian Military Academy, Air Force Academy, and Naval Academy. So in those academies, the training is usually for 1.5 years. So what happens there is, yes, you will be given the basic training of the Indian Army training, the basic training, and yes, then you will be assigned your regiment, and then you will join. There will be a passing out parade. So as we have seen in Laksh, so there is a passing out parade, those famous Chetwood birds. So after that, yes, you will join any regiment or anything, like you will make the selection. I have not gone so far, so I'm not the best person to say about it, but yes. So what happens is, yes, you get assigned your regiment. So it can be an infantry regiment or armored corps or artillery or maybe some technical regiment. So yes, you get on with your job. But what I've heard, training does not stop there. After you are assigned to a regiment, you have to get trained over there as well on that particular trait that you are assigned. So if you are in a technical regiment, then you have to learn the tools of the trade. Yes.
If you remember, during our college days, when we are in final year and undergoing placements, interviews and all, Indian Army came into our campus to recruit engineers.
Yes.
Yeah. So what division of Indian Army will the engineers go if they are selected? Like any idea on that?
Yeah, so there are a few sections of Indian Army where engineers play the role. Like there are sappers, like the civil engineering section of it, the one who builds bridges, clearing landmines, all those are part of the sappers. So then there is a core of EME, electrical and mechanical engineers. Then there is core of signals, so they handle the communications part of it. So those are the basic places that engineer can join the Indian Army. So the scheme that Indian Army came through, it is known as University Entry Scheme (UES). So so the cadet who is selected through that, they have to they are again they will be considered a direct entry, the one that we mentioned.
Oh, okay.
So previously in the podcast, they will be considered direct entry, and again 6 a.m. they have to report and everything happens, and they will be joining Indian Military Academy.
Okay. IMA.
Indian Military Academy, IMA. So, and there is one more scheme like TES, the one I mentioned previously in
Yes.
the podcast, technical entry scheme for 10+2 science folks. That is, if you have 70% plus in PCM, they will be joining OTA Gaya, specifically for them, Officers Training Academy Gaya. So,
Yeah, okay.
that's the difference.
Okay. Great. That is a great insight that you put forward against the Indian Army and its recruitment process. Thank you for that.
I think the aspirants get whatever they want. I wish that every guy should at least try to join the defense forces, and if they went through, well and good. Whether they wish to serve or not, it's their choice. But if you ask me, yes, they should serve at least a few years. It's a life-changing experience. At least the interview process itself is a life-changing experience, because the kind of people you meet and the kind of life you lead. So yes, it teaches you one thing: you make bond when you share a trauma. I have made good friends over there, because yes, the interview process is, since we are from civilian background, I would say little bit hectic for us, because we are not accustomed to waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning, right? So yeah, so that is that is the thing. So yeah, so I believe every man, woman, anyone should at least try to join the defense forces once in their life. If they can make it through, well and good. Yeah, you may take it up as like service to the nation or anything, but I would say take it up as your personality development class. Like, it's an experience that will change your personality. It will change your life views. Yeah.
Okay. So if you know that that Singapore and South Korea, they have mandatory rules that every citizen has to undergo 2 years of mandatory serving in the army. So how much that is helpful, if you think, like for a country like India with 130 plus crore citizens? So how much useful that will be if that part is implemented in India?
So I think Israel also has something like that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Considering Israel and South Korea, so they are facing the threat of invasion continuously. So, and they are very small nations, so they need a reserve of people who are ready to fight. So that is why I believe the mandatory conscription came into being. Consider India, we have the second largest army in the world, and we are soon going to be the largest army in the world. I think India does not take conscription. India does not take conscription because Indian youth is more than willing to join the Indian army, because we have to see the kind of crowd comes when there is a rally there, when there is army bharti going on, or when there is a SSB interview, the kind of enthusiasm our youth has. So I don't think so conscription is important for India. But yeah, what I believe is important, people should be made more aware about the career choices in Indian Army.
Yes.
People should be made more aware, because when I see myself, when I was preparing for NDA, there was nothing there. No coaching institute was advertising NDA. They were like JE, PMT. At our time, it was AAA and PMT. So they were like PMT, AAA. That's it. Take it and go. So no one had mentioned NDA. And when I came to later period after the college, no one was mentioning CDS. Now it pleases me to see that it has come into their pro forma or whatever you like in their curriculum. It has come. So I think people should be made more aware. Like, these entrances are there. What is happening? What the Indian Army is doing? what kind of job opportunities. And now I believe there is a YouTube channel called ADGPI Indian Army. This is the official channel of Indian Army. They are doing a great job. Like the kind of videos that they are making to motivate the youth. I think it's a very right step, right thing that's happening. I think conscription won't be important for India because we are not facing a continual threat of invasion as South Korea or Israel. But yes, again, yeah. So the thing is, we should be made more aware, and I think the youth will do the rest.
So also you mentioned that you aspire or you still looking forward for territorial army. Like, what is a territorial army, if you can say? Because being a commoner, even I am not aware of all those. So like me, there are millions of people around. So yeah. So what is a territorial army? I believe Mahendra Singh Dhoni also is captain in territorial army. So yeah,
he's a lieutenant colonel with the parachute regiment. I think he is a lieutenant colonel with 106th Infantry. 106th Infantry is a para-SF regiment. So I think it's headquartered in Bangalore.
Okay. So what are these territorial armies like?
So territorial army is so there are two parts. There is regular army and then there is territorial army. So territorial army is more of like so the purpose this territorial army came into being was if there is a war, the regular army will fight and rest other things will be taken care of by the territorial army. So it's it would be like it now it has become that the Indian Army provides working youth, working men up till the age of 42 a chance to serve in the army, not in the regular army. You will not be a permanent member of the army. You won't get a permanent commission. It would be like you will be serving, I think, around 3 to 6 months a year, and rest of the period will be continuing your profession, whatever you are into. Now let us consider our case. We are in the corporate sector. So if we join territorial army, we will have to render our service for let's say 3 to 6 months a year, and then rest of the time we will be allowed to continue our life, and the pay will be for those 3 to 6 months. But life is not less challenging. It is equally challenging as the regular army because yes, as I mentioned, there are TA battalions in the Rashtriya Rifles as well. So again, so that is the thing. So it is not less challenging. So I would say yes, anyone who aspires to join the territorial army, yeah, it's a very welcome move. Just write the exam and see where life takes you.
Yeah. So we are discussing about Indian Army's recruitment process. In not only Indian Army, we are discussing about naval unit as well as Air Force unit. So basically, defense staff of India. So, but in recent years, there have been some interactions with our neighboring countries in terms of clashes or strikes, surgical strikes. So what do you think of that without being politically things?
Yes, I will remain apolitical, and army should be kept out of politics always.
Yes.
So yes, so coming to surgical strikes, I would say I don't know. I mean, the thing is that Indian Army always had the capability, if you ask me, I believe, to conduct such surgical strikes. And yes, when it came to Uri, the surgical strike that happened in response to Uri, I think it was necessary. It was necessary because we can't let anyone to attack on our soldiers in our land. And when it happened in Myanmar, again, I would say we can't let that happen in our land. I mean, like, you can't. It was a message that needed to be sent that you can't hide if you strike us. So I think the surgical strikes were a very necessary move, and the Balakot airstrike that happened, yes, there were other moves as well. Like I think somewhere in the early 2000s or somewhere, MiG-25 it crossed Pakistani airspace and it came back just to show that we have the capability to strike at our own whimsy. So yes, I think Indian Army and Indian Air Force and Indian Navy are more than capable to respond to any attacks that may be caused by anyone. And coming to China, what they are doing is, I have recently heard a lot of podcasts and read some news about it. So what they try to do is, they try to do salami slicing. Salami slicing means they will inch inside, 1 inch at a time, 1 inch at a time. They will take your territory. So China is trying to assert a dominance in the Southeast Asian theater, but Yeah, I think Indian Army is more than capable of tackling it. So we have been doing it. We are giving them befitting replies. I don't know a lot about what's happening. Like, yes, maybe we have lost some territory. I won't go into the nitty gritty because again, it
We
might
don't
go
know the
political.
entire detail,
So
yeah, because
yeah,
not
we don't
everything
know
is
the
in
entire
public
details.
domain yet.
Exactly. Not everything is in public domain yet, but I think yes. So Indian Army is more than capable of giving China or Pakistan a very befitting reply. And yeah, yes, we are in safe hands.
Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned that Chinese army is going for a every inch policy where they're trying to do inch by inch, and they're doing it in
Mhm.
Ladakh sector, they're doing in Arunachal sector, and this is not new that we are coming across in the news. They're trying it from 2000s and maybe before that as well, from 1962s war as well. So while having all this, we never had this any alteration like combat situation before. But do you think the Chinese army is being more aggressive now for some reasons from the time COVID started? Because this is in the on the rise after COVID. That's what I feel because that's the news coming up and we read accordingly. Do you think it's their like fast track strategies to acquire more space and land?
Yes, I believe so because as you mentioned, because in Ladakh sector, in the northern side of Pangong, so they were doing it. They were doing it in Galwan,
Hmm.
so where a lot of our soldiers and officers lost their lives, and they are also recently did it in Yangtze. So yes, I think they have fast tracked it to acquire as much land and assert dominance. Actually, it's not about land; it's about asserting dominance.
Hmm.
Asserting dominance in the Southeast Asian theater that China is a force to reckon with, and
Hmm.
we have the dominance over our neighbors. So I think it is that policy that's happening because when it's coming to altercation, so what happens usually is that Indian Army patrols the border which it perceives to be its land, and China
Hmm.
perceives the places where it perceives to be its land. Again, the LAC is not clearly defined in a lot of places. So
Hmm.
altercations do happen, but what happened this time around, I think maybe they had created some forward bases which
Hmm.
they were not moving.
Hmm.
So when confronted by the Indian Army, the altercation happened, and I think in the Galwan region, they had started constructing some villages,
Yes.
constructed some villages which were they had like they bought in heavy building equipment, heavy building material, which when was opposed by the Indian Army, and they started the altercation happened. So yes, so if somebody asks me if war is on the horizon, I don't think so because both the countries are more than aware that war is bad for business. So they will not go into war, but I think it will be solved more politically, diplomatically, and economically. I hope it gets solved that way because that would be good for both the nations.
So actually, we have our neighbors who are nuclear equipped. We have Pakistan who is
Mhm.
nuclear equipped, and China anyway. Uh, and politically, if you see, China is helping Pakistan directly or indirectly. So, do you think these two can merge or collaborate and do something against India, which they already might be doing in Kashmir base?
No, I don't think so. That would be a problem. Maybe if you ask me, like China and Pakistan have been friends for quite some time.
Hmm.
Okay, so during 1971 also there is this fear that Chinese might attack, but
Hmm.
that did not happen. Uh, and see, it was I would say they are more of like frenemies, friendly enemies. I mean, like
Hmm.
in international relations, right? Everything is based on mutual interests. There is nothing like a true friend. Okay, so it's like if the
Hmm.
interests match, then only it happens. Okay, so I don't think so. India poses any fear that two might combine their forces and attack India. I don't think so that would happen. I
Yeah,
don't think
because
so.
all other allies of India also will then come into picture, and it will become a world war in that case.
Yeah, in that scenario, it would become a world war because yeah, world war is not in the horizon, and more than Pakistan, China is a threat to us now. If I have to say a threat, because if we, I am saying economically, if we see the fiscal
Hmm.
deficit with China, it's rising actually. So that way, I feel China is a threat to us. We should concentrate more on our industries. And yes, our defense forces are there. They will protect us nevertheless. Yes.
Okay. So we talked about recruitment process in the army. We talked about our neighboring political situations. So now a few quick questions that I might have missed on the previous discussion. Like you mentioned NDA exams, right? So for that, what is the requirement, educational requirement? Can as a undergrad who just passed out from school +2, can they appear for it, or like what is the degree or anything required?
So National Defense Academy is meant for people who have just passed out from school. So they offer you a 3 years program in National Defense Academy and 1 year program in any of the training academies like Air Force, Navy, or Army. So in 3 years you get your degree.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get your degree in science or BA, BSc, and all those degrees you can get, and alongside your training.
Mm-hmm.
And again, then you will be. I think the degree started from 1977. Prior to that, if you join NDA, you were still 10+2. You did not get a degree, but yes, but you were trained. You were trained in, and you were taught the like tools of the trade, like military engineering and everything would have been taught. But post 1977, they are giving degrees. So anyone who joins the NDA, they will come out of a 3 year degree course, a regular 3 year degree course. Yes. So it is for 10+2 people. The age limit is I think 18 years. So anyone who's below 18 years, please go and apply.
Okay. And we see or we meet a lot of people who are retired from the army. So is there a specific age to retire from the army or paramilitary, in that case, or Navy, Air Force, anything, or it's voluntary anytime you can take?
I don't know exactly about that.
Okay.
I don't have much knowledge about that.
Okay. No worries. Now coming back to corporate, it's from India. Yeah. So do you think because the inflation rate in India also is rising and China also, and which is haunting US also, the superpower now. So do you think any recession is going to come in the coming future and it will impact the job market?
Oh, see, I have heard that recession is coming. It might hit in March. It might hit in Feb. But if I see the recruitment scenario that is happening, I would say it's better than ever. I mean, like better than ever. I won't say as good as 2021, but it is still. It has not come down.
Yeah.
The company definitely that the companies know something that we don't. I think recession would be something that will haunt us, the corporate employees. But I think if your basics are clear, your work ethics are at the right place, I think you don't have anything to fear.
Okay. Now, given a chance that you go back in time and you have to advise something to younger Amlan, what will you suggest yourself?
Okay. So if I have to go back in time, I would suggest only one thing: think less, do more. Think less, do more. Why? Because I feel I have missed out a lot of opportunities by overthinking it. So that is what I would say. So I would suggest my younger self, you should think less and like try things out, try more things out. Just jump into it. Don't worry about what might happen, what might not happen, and be more focused in what you're doing. So I would suggest that to my younger self.
Great. I think we're at the end of our discussion for this. Thank you, Amlan, for putting out your thoughts and ideas and the information that you are aware of and your experiences. Thank you. It was insightful and knowledgeable as well. Thank you.
It was a fun experience for me as well. It was the best part was I was catching up with you after a long time. Also, through this podcast, I could I could get an opportunity to say, I mean, like what I feel about my life, about the corporate culture, and about my passion, my aspirations. And yes, it was a very interesting one for me. And the way you took it, it was really nice. And yeah, I have been following your podcast as well. I think you are doing a very good job. And yes, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward that we also can be the TRS someday. I'm not sure. But we'll be the TGP. The geeky podcast.
Yeah, we'll be TGP. Yeah. The journey is a long way. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, why not hope for it? Why not aim for it?
Yes. Thank you.